Okay, so where to begin? Oh man. Okay, let's get into Shu and Hina's relationship and my overall thoughts on it. Hina is so in denial, delusional on her entire stance with Shu. It's very apparent from after watching this episode that Shu is manipulating Hina. Throughout the episode, when you first look at it, the episode, if you're just looking at the surface, it looks like Shu is not, quote-unquote, that bad of a guy, okay? But despite him having an affair, like I said, it doesn't look like he's a bad person, so to say, because he gives off this vibe that he cares about Hina. He's willing to take multiple steps to be with Hina. It seems like he does care about her. But there's multiple times throughout this episode that does show that there's more going on here than meets the eye. Stuff kind of covered up. It's like a wool over eyes, so we're not really getting the full picture. But it's easy to see that Shu is manipulating Hina from this one line alone. When he's like, what is your feelings? Like, what is your feelings on the situation about us? That entire moment, it seems like it's a nice thing that he said. He was, like, concerned about Hina. Like, he was like, oh, Hina, you need to put yourself first. You need to think about your feelings and all that. But in reality, he wasn't doing that. What he said in that moment was manipulation. He was playing with Hina's heart to be able to make it to where Hina would not leave him and continue to be with him without trying to create any distance whatsoever. Because let's look at that situation before he said that. Hina straight up said she wanted to take some time with some space away from him. She didn't say, let's break up or anything. She's like, let's just have some space because my family's important to me. Obviously, there's a lot of stress going on in the home, and I don't want any more stress to happen. So obviously, let's have some space. Any normal guy would have instantly said, if you're a good person, okay, fine. Go about your time, have some space, talk it over with your family because your family is important. Because at the end of the day, let's just be 100% real with each other. Your family is more important, okay? She's not technically husband and wife with this dude yet, Shu, okay? I don't care if it's your first love or not. You're not husband and wife yet. And even if they've been together for 2 years, the point still stands is that family is still very important. And you don't just throw your family under the bus for a dude that obviously is having an affair with another woman. And on top of that, clearly shows that he is manipulating your heart constantly. And Hina is very aware of this. She is very aware he is doing this, but she lets it. She lets herself get manipulated by this man. And so, let's get into those nitty-gritty details. Like I said, when he says, what is your feelings, he was being very selfish. He wasn't concerned about Hina's feelings. He was worried about himself, his only feelings, because he wanted to manipulate Hina to where she would only stay with him. And so let's look at the other parts. It's also stated in this episode that there's been many times to where Hina thinks that, he's going to leave his wife and, they're going to be in a relationship. They're going to get married, etc., be together. That's what she was under the impression multiple times in this past, 2-year relationship with this guy. And he's constantly said he's going to leave his wife. But in reality, he's never left his wife. So this says a lot. Number one, the man is a liar, which is obviously he's a liar because, he's having an affair with another woman, aka Hina. But regardless of the affair, he's a liar because he can't keep a promise saying he's going to leave his wife. Number two, he is someone that constantly builds up Hina's emotions. Like, she's like, oh, I'm going to have a relationship with him, and then he just rips it on down and he doesn't do anything about it. He's just giving, pretty words, fancy words, dressing things up for she could be happy, shut up for a while, for maybe a couple months or whatever, and then the whole issue starts back up again, and it's on a constant repeat. Hit that repeat button over and over and over and over and over again. And that's been the constant cycle I'm assuming has been going on for the past 2 years with Hina and Shu's relationship. Now, going one step further as well, Shu is someone that obviously doesn't show a violent side. He's not necessarily violent, because he does allow him to get mistreated, himself to get mistreated multiple times throughout this episode. Even though he does deserve it, he still didn't stand up and really try to defend himself. He allowed himself to be attacked by our main character Natsuo and Rui, one of our main female characters. And so, like I said, when you first look at this episode, he doesn't seem like that bad of a guy. But that's the point. It's emotional manipulation. That's what he's doing. And Rui picked up on that. She picked up on his manipulation when, he was constantly saying, oh, I'm going to leave my wife and all that. He's been trying to leave her. That's disgusting, because here's the thing you gotta look at. If the man is willing to cheat on his wife that he's known for a long time and been in a relationship with, then he's gonna cheat on his new girlfriend, aka Hina. You cannot trust a person like that, which, once again, this goes back to some realistic elements to what the series is doing. See, love, like I've already said in this series review, is that love is illogical. It's something that you can't really explain. People do stupid things because that's just how love is. Romance is. Just people don't always think about everything, even the bad, the good, everything. People just sometimes disregard all of the bad because they love that person so much. And in this case, that's what's going on here, is that Hina is so blinded by love that she's not seeing the problem. She doesn't want to see it. She knows about it. She does see it, but she's just avoiding looking at it. She's just like lying to herself, not wanting to think about how she's in a relationship that's just in a downward spiral and not going to go anywhere, because this man is constantly lying and willing to cheat on his wife, which means he will cheat on Hina. And Hina as well is very complicated, because what she was doing with Natsuo was definitely not something you should do if you're in a relationship. So she is very guilty alongside him, not just because she's going along with the affair, but because she even did what she did with Natsuo. So, a lot can be said there. It's just, it's a really, really realistic episode, and also that final sequence where Hina says that she is done, like, and all that, like she's putting some distance with the dude, like she broke up. It's obviously a lie. It's a big lie. Let's be real here, because there's a couple of reasons why you know it's a lie. Number one, it's because if there was a breakup between the two, we would have saw it on screen. It's just common logic for literature, for stories, that we would have saw the breakup scene and Hina would have been crying. It's obvious. She wasn't crying, which does mean that she's still in a relationship with the man. And if we look at the last scene she had with the man, he manipulated her. So she's lying to her brother and sister, which shows once again how bad of an influence he is on Hina, and he's not really helping her out whatsoever. So that's one thing I wanted to point out, is that yes, Hina definitely lied to her sister and brother about being out of the relationship, but in reality she's only lying because, number one, she doesn't want, her, family to be stressing out anymore, but number two, she still wants to be in a relationship because, once again, she's getting manipulated. So, yeah, I mean, this is a very fascinating series. I gotta admit, I like how realistic it feels. I can't even say it's really overdramatic. Like, I have to admit that Domestic Girlfriend is handling, I think, this situation in a way that does feel like real life, because I think this is kind of what would happen in real life. I mean, love is complex. It's not something that can really be tied down and, like, explained, like, oh, this is how it does or how this works. It's so illogical, you can't really ever explain it to a T. So that's the point here. So seeing how Hina was in this episode, I'm pretty impressed with this series. I was impressed last week with the parenting and how the parents were so real, how they should get Parent of the Year awards just because of how different it is from normal manga. But seeing Hina now, I gotta admit, she's a very realistic female character. She's not my favorite female character. I still prefer Rui, Team Rui all the way. But Hina, in terms of being complex, she is definitely a good character in that regard. I don't think, however, Natsuo should ever be with her, because, once again, if she's willing to be with someone that's having an affair, regardless of how blinded by love you can be, or have Stockholm Syndrome or whatever, you're definitely not going to be a person that's probably fit for Natsuo, or any person, because you're probably going to cheat and lie as well, because she's been living a lie for a very long time, especially even lying to her family at the end of this episode. So, what else to talk about? I guess one of the other critical parts to talk about is seeing how far the best friend Natsuo will go to help him out. I didn't really talk about it last week, which I should have, but I want to kind of take a moment to talk about it in this episode review. Natsuo's friend is very stunning. Like, I didn't expect him to be such a helpful friend in this series, because when you first look at him, I was judging by his appearance and his personality that he wasn't really going to be helpful. He was just going to be that guy that's a comedy relief, like a comic relief, and not really help out much. He was just going to be a guy that spouts off some one-liners, and that's pretty much it. But he's been a really big support in this episode and last, and I'm impressed too by that. This series does have some really good characters to it. Better than I expected, because when I first heard about this series through, the fans, or people that read the manga, they tell me, like I said, the manga goes to hell. It's bad. It's really bad. And I'm just like, how? With the characters as good as they are, I'm seeing with the parents, to the best friend, to Rui and her, social issues, to Hina and her Stockholm Syndrome, and, illogical love, I'm just like, how could this series be bad? What is happening here that made this series so bad? I don't really know. And in a lot of ways, I actually kind of want to be spoiled, because I'm just still in utter shock. Because there's just so much quality / potential here in this series that I just don't see why there is so many complaints on it. Hopefully one day I do find out, but, depending on how far it is in the manga, we might not ever get to see it in this anime adaptation, because I believe this anime adaptation is going to be about 12 to 13 episodes, so that's really not that long in the grand scheme of things. But okay, overall, how do I feel about the episode? I'm still on Team Rui. Don't really like Hina in terms of being a romantic interest for Natsuo, but I do want to see Hina get in a better relationship. She's not in a good spot right now in her life. She is definitely not, because of being in a relationship with a dude that's willing to have an affair, and I think she needs to find someone that's a better dude. She's not with a guy that's actually good for her. He's a really bad example, and he is dragging her down. She needs a better person in her life. But that's pretty much about it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. Because for some reason, even if you click the subscribe button, you don't always get notified for whenever a video is uploaded. So if you do want to get notified, hit that bell icon down below. And this doesn't just go for me, but it goes for every single YouTuber on the platform. So even if you don't care about me and you don't want to see my content pop up in your feed, at the very least, do it for the YouTubers you do care about, because it does help out YouTubers a lot. Because like I said, subscribing to a channel doesn't always just send you out videos. So with that, I love you guys. Have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.